get a home warranty.
Yeah.
I don't care if the home is brand new. Get a home warranty. You're gonna want it. It's $750.
Why do you think the home warranty is so important?
Oh my god, because it'll save your ass. Yeah, I mean, you buy a home, watch, your water heater will go out. I guarantee your water heater goes out in a year, because that's your luck. And you're gonna really wish you had your home warranty then. And it goes as deep as having, a reverse osmosis system. Okay, those things can fail. And they can be an expensive failure too. But you get that home warranty, get people to come out, fix it for free. You're gonna have no problem. And along with your appliances too. You got a kitchen, you got a refrigerator go out, home warranty.
Yeah.
Roof, home warranty.
Cool.
Home warranty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for people to understand the value in that, just because of the fact that a lot of people, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, you're kind of depleting the savings to get into the property a lot of times, and whether it's needing new furniture or just the unexpected repairs, I mean, that can start you in the path of doing something good for your finances and building equity, and then all of a sudden you get derailed really quickly by something unexpected. And if you haven't owned a home before, a lot of times you haven't thought about that stuff.
Welcome to the Uncensored Real Estate Podcast, where nothing is off limits. If you're interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and you want to learn some of the insider secrets and uncensored truths from the true professionals in and around real estate, you've come to the right place. Now, let's buckle up for the uncensored truth about real estate and join your host, Brian Cardenas.
All right, everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Uncensored Real Estate Podcast. Appreciate you joining us. If you are watching us on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you find out when we drop the next episode. And if you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, we would love it if you would give us a 5-star rating and share the episode with your friends and family so they can get all this great information that we are providing you with. And today we've got two guests. We're hoping they both fit on screen for YouTube. You guys sit really close and snuggle in together.
We're brothers, right?
Yeah.
We're brothers.
Andrew, Jacob, introduce yourselves to the audience and give us a little background too.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? My name's Andrew Hatfield. Been in real estate for about 2 years, but we have quite a story together. So, best friends since elementary school, eager to go out into the real world and just get our own path started. So we really just took the leap of faith and kind of getting into an entrepreneurship kind of thing, and real estate was just the way that we decided to go. So we moved out from Iowa, which is where we're both from originally, moved all the way to Arizona to kind of get it going. So I'm Andrew and Jacob.
And Jacob Buchele. Yep.
Jacob, are you allowed to talk more than that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I am. Yeah, that's the quick gist.
Do you have the same background though?
No, we are.
Similarly?
So we're both from the same area. We went to high school together, and we moved out here together.
That's kind of cool to be able to do something with a lifelong friend.
I kind of put it in tiers. We were friends, then we were brothers, and now we're business partners.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the tiers of that.
Yeah. We really are like brothers. It's pretty insane. I mean, we've slept over at each other's houses for probably 10 years now. So it's interesting. You go back and you look at us in like middle school, what we were doing then versus now. Look at us. Hey, we're on Real Estate Uncensored. Life is crazy, man. Life really is a video game, and we're just leveling up every day.
That's awesome. So tell me, what made you guys both decide to take that leap and just move? Like, you moved to a place that you guys didn't know and decided to do it together. Like, what motivated you to do that?
Well, it really started from the fact that I knew my entire life I was not going to college.
Yeah.
No chance. I really, really was very much so against it. Nobody in my family has gone to college. Just my grandfather, and he has a PhD. So I make the joke that he took all the brains out of the family. So no way I was doing that, right? Born into kind of a construction background. My father owns a construction company. My mom's actually a waitress. So I kind of had like that just desire that I didn't need to go to college, but I had to make it on my own. And I wasn't going to live a normal life. That's never been a thought of mine. I've always kind of been a futurist and wanted to see what I could soak out of it. And so, I just, in my sophomore year in high school, really just started looking up, how do you get rich? How do you become an entrepreneur? and real estate. It's just obviously the way to go. So he jumped on the ship with me, and through a couple interviews we did in high school, and we built a mock real estate business in a marketing class, and we just kind of picked it up, really. And we just met a lot of great people along the way to help us out, but yeah, I mean, thank God he jumped ship with me. I was going to do it by myself.
Yeah. You had to put a lot of trust in that vision, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I had mixed emotions about college as well. And, in high school, when all your friends are like, they're thinking about college, it really looked like just going to party.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about that. So I kind of jumped ship with him.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
We did a business development class in high school, and then that's kind of how we got introduced to real estate. So yeah.
That's cool that they actually had a class like that you were doing in high school, because that's not always the case.
No.
I mean, back in the dark ages when I went to high school, like we were lucky if we got taught how to balance a checkbook. And do you guys know what a checkbook is?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah, we have one now.
just bought one.
Yeah, now that we got to pay rent and everything. Yeah, now we got one. Yeah.
we had to write out what we wrote a check for and how much it was, and do math to figure out how much we had left in our bank account. But they taught that actually in high school, which it seems like they've left out a lot of the practical stuff that you need to know in life, whether it's business, finances, credit, like all that stuff is just completely void of any teaching in high school.
I love that you say that, because it's so true. It's insane. It's insane what you don't know.
Yeah.
Leaving high school. Like, I didn't know anything, man. I'm lucky that I was like, had the own mind, I guess, to study real estate and kind of take this on myself. But yeah, you really don't learn that. And I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Miller, who taught that
She
class.
taught that class.
So
but
this class was really cool because it allowed people with the mindset of just wanting to work. You got into this class, and it allowed you to have a job. And as long as you could prove that you were putting in hours at a job, you could leave school and you could go work that job, which allowed us to just really kind of hit the ground running and started working. I mean, we started doing construction. We were lifeguards together. We've been in the restaurant industry together. So, yeah.
We got a variety of experience, but that's good. And it's interesting that you say that you knew that you weren't going to college and you sort of like weren't sure.
Yeah,
I
was on the fence. It didn't appeal to me. I knew I feel like I would have got stuck in like the trap of like the party life, and I didn't want to go for that reason. So I kind of wanted to skip out on all that, start a business. Yeah. That's how we ended up here.
And we got a lot of that partying done while we were in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be clear.
Yeah,
we didn't skip out on that part.
No, we didn't. Yeah, not all together.
Yeah, we had our fun. We had our fun. And not that we don't, we don't do it as much anymore, but I mean, shoot, we're only 20. We still do our things, but we just like to grind. We just like to stay focused.
Well, and it's to me, it's actually admirable to not just take the path that everybody else follows and to decide that I'm going to do something different than what 95% of people do, or whatever that number is. Because, you talk about wanting to do something to be successful. Like, that's what successful people do, is they do the opposite of what the masses are doing, and that they go forge their own path. And I think a lot of times people get sort of trapped into, go to college, get a degree, go find a job, and, walk out of there a lot of times with massive debt that you've got to overcome first before you can get started, moving to the positive side of the balance sheet, so to speak. And now with the way that access to information is you can learn a lot and be very specific and targeted about the information that you gather by doing it, on your own, whether it's seeking out courses or classes or reading or online information. Like, you can gain an education in a very short period of time that you would have, been in debt $80,000 and taken 4 or 5 years to get to that point.
That's right.
Exactly.
And the way I saw it too was if we really got started and became entrepreneurs at 18, which is what we did do, then okay, I consider that my college.
Yeah.
So, I'm a junior in the college of hard knocks. It's pretty much where I consider we are. But 4 years in college, okay, versus 4 years of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I mean, they're $80,000 in debt, and we've been making money this entire time and learning the business.
Yeah.
So this is my college.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's practical application is what it boils down to.
That's
and
a good way to put it.
There's no other better way to learn, because you see a lot of people come out of school with, book smarts and, theoretical ideas. And then you get into the real world and you find out it's not exactly how it works, because if you're lucky, you get a college instructor that actually participated in the area that they are instructing. Oftentimes they had no participation. Like, something for us, like the Federal Reserve Boards, when you hear that people who are manipulating our economy, almost none of them have any real world jobs.
Isn't that insane?
It's all coming out of the universities. And it's like, really? Like, you're going to be able to do, whatever you want to the economy, and you've never held a job that required hiring people, firing people, building a business.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, and you learn business class from people that don't run businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. Is we put ourselves with people who run businesses, who have done what we do, and I mean, people who do multi-billion dollars or are just millionaires themselves, like that. Those are my teachers.
Yeah.
That's who I want to learn from, whether it's in life or just in real estate in specific. Like, yeah, those are my teachers.
So when you were kind of devising your plan, you said, you were trying to figure out how do you make money. What attracted you to real estate? Because there's a lot of different ways you can make money.
Yeah.
But what was it about real estate?
Man, I remember when my mom and I were out house hunting in my 8th grade year. So kind of like middle school going into high school. I remember meeting a realtor at the house, and he drove a nice car, and he showed up on his own pace. And I remember just thinking, like, that's what he does. And that is what you do. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of like an intro to it. Again, I came from a construction background, and I had actually been working construction since I was 14. So like a blue collar, I totally love and respect the blue collar, but it just wasn't for me. And so it's just as simple as, how do I scale? And how do I scale fast? And now it's not as fast as what they say it is, but in generally speaking, how do I become an entrepreneur instantly? Real estate. I mean, it's the biggest trade.
Yeah.
How about for you?
Yeah. I mean, I always like the idea that it's like the most expensive thing that most people will purchase. So like, if you want to be at the top, that's the top level. And like, we got into learning about investing really early, into investing in real estate. So like, we just thought, I mean, the best way to get into that is be an agent first.
Yeah. It's funny, I actually forget about that all the time.
Yeah.
We were listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast when we were like juniors in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember they would have episodes on with agents. They were talking about agents, and I was like, I don't want to be an agent. But, yeah, then we kind of flipped that idea, and we're like, well, if we were agents, we'd really understand the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it takes more than that. Like, there's a lot of agents in the business that they don't approach it with the same approach that you guys seem to be taking. It's they maybe like houses, they may like design or whatever, and then they decide, well, I've got a cousin or whatever that wants to buy a house. Maybe I'll get my license. I've got time, and they go into it sort of with that part-time, side gig mentality, and they don't function in the space as a real professional, as a business owner. They don't run it as a business. It's sort of like a hobby. What got you to thinking that way? Like, how did you start? Because it's really young to be approaching life at, let me figure out how to create a business, be an entrepreneur, make sure it's a business that I can scale. Like, where did that come from?
Well, honestly, if I can go deep into my life a little bit, I won't take too much time, but I grew up in very different social classes. So when I was very young, I was kind of raised in like a trailer park. And then my mom had met a guy, and they were together for some time, and we were very wealthy, something around like $30 million. So I was able to have everything that I wanted. If I wanted a go-kart, I got the go-kart. We had a go-kart track in our backyard. So I kind of got that taste. But coming like my 8th grade year, they split up and we lost everything. So that's when it hit. Was 8th grade year and freshman year. I was like, okay, I got to go make it. I got to go get this back. And I'm gonna get it on my own because
You just want a damn go-kart.
yeah, because I want my kids to have go-karts, And if I don't scale properly, and if I don't scale quickly and efficiently, then I'm afraid that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. And so I had it, I lost it. I'm gonna get it back on my own. Yeah. So that's why I approach it like a business. I mean, this isn't like a side gig. This is something that we're gonna do the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And so our business is going to be strong, the brand's going to be strong, and we're just going to keep growing.
Cool. What did you have to say? You're about to say
Oh,
something.
no. To go off that, yeah, just something we want to expand. I love real estate and the fact that there's so many like different ways you can expand out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So any way we can expand, we're going to do.
Yeah, you definitely come from the agent, the service side, and
Yep.
you can scale the business that way. You can get into investing, and there's a lot of different ways you can do it.
Podcast, everything.
Yeah, so you guys do a podcast too.
Yeah, we
Tell
just
us about
started.
it.
We just started one.
That's right. So we're the Arizona State leaders for EXP's Young Professional Network.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we kind of branched out the idea to do a podcast. We actually had a podcast in high school too, but nobody knew about it. And nobody will know about it. So
Yeah.
don't go try to
Don't
find it.
go
What was
looking
the
for
name
that.
of it?
I'll never tell you.
I don't even remember. Oh, I do remember.
It was the Platinum Real Estate Podcast.
The Platinum Real Estate Podcast.
Because that was the original company that we built our junior year of high school, was Platinum Real Estate Team. But so we started a podcast, and we do it in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
So EXP World 2.0. We bring on a bunch of real estate professionals that are we're just trying to give value to the people in our Young Professional Network.
Yeah.
So that's really it, just kind of providing value. And at the same time, I'm learning. I'm a student of the game as well. Luckily, I get to be on the couch, not in the audience. So
Yeah. Well, and it's good to be, constantly learning, because that's one of the things that you find no matter how long you've been doing this, for 2 years or 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to stop learning. And if you do, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Like you have to continually evolve and adapt and change. Just in the time that you guys have been in real estate, what are the biggest changes that you've seen? Because you came into it at a pretty crazy time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're COVID realtors.
yeah,
That's when we got into 2020. So
yeah, listed on Thursday, sold on Sunday. So our first couple deals.
It's not working that way anymore, is
No.
it?
got a lot harder.
Like that. Yeah. So you're exactly right. We got in at a hot time.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just said, listed on Thursday, sold on Sunday. That's how a lot of our first deals went. And we had a pretty decent first year. We were learning a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, in comparison to what it is now, right? We had a listing that was $1,050,000. Now it's $950,000. And next week it might be $925,000. I mean, that's how it is, We're 5 months on the market.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is different, but I love that. I love that because I don't remember who said this, but we were at a little conference and somebody said, this is the time where we're going to trim the fat. Mm-hmm. Right? There's so many agents in this country, but so many agents that won't make it through this. And if you can weather this storm, then you're going to come out on the other side. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
That fires me up.
Yeah, I forgot. Somebody said the statistic recently to me about how many real estate license renewals there were this year compared to last year. It was a pretty dramatic reduction.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just that, exactly, because people a lot of times get into the business because it seems easy, and it's not that hard to get in. I mean, you spend enough time in a class and pass a test.
Right.
On the first or fifth time, doesn't matter.
we won't say ours, but
Oh my gosh, you won't even believe how many times.
Was it more than 5?
Yes.
for the first one, yeah.
I'll tell you mine. Keep going. How many times do you think it took me to pass the test?
8?
More.
10?
More.
15?
More.
20?
Less.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
18. 18
Wow.
times.
I
Talk about being persistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough.
That is the picture of persistence for sure. But I mean, the thing is like people can get into it. Like if you're persistent enough, taking enough times, you can get into it. And so they kind of get into it in that way. And then, especially if they got into it in 2020 or 2021, they think the world operates one way.
Yeah.
And the reality is now you get into a market like this and okay, that wasn't reality.
Mhm.
That was completely abnormal. Now we're into more of a normal market. how do you keep either your clients or both your clients and your mindset, strong and positive, because, you don't have the experience to fall back on to say, well, this is what it was at this time and this is how we handled it. Like, how do you guys deal with that to keep you positive and also your clients positive?
First and foremost, you got to set expectations. We were just with some people in Florida, and they told this great story where they were on an airplane, but before they took off, they said, hey, we're going to have some winds, expect to have some turbulence, right? And they did have turbulence, but it wasn't that scary because they knew it was coming. Right. Now, if they didn't tell you that and you dropped 30 feet, that'd be pretty scary. So set expectations going in, like, hey, here's the deal. What would have happened a year ago, I can explain that to you. What's going to happen now? All right, we might take a little longer. We might have to actually paint the cabinets. Our listing, we just painted the cabinets today because we got to do something. What can we do? Clean the floors. So we're going in, and people aren't really oblivious to that though. Like they understand, unless you're really a first-time home buyer. I think a lot of people have a general idea of what the real estate market's going to be like when it comes to buying and selling their home. We're there to guide them and kind of be a therapist, I guess, along the way, to when they say, why don't we have any offers? Well, here's why.
Yeah, you end up wearing a lot of hats in the role. For sure.
Man, more than I ever thought. Yeah,
but it's interesting because I think it takes a little while for people to adjust, because when you see a market shift as quickly as we did, there were still a lot of sellers that were not very realistic. And they weren't grounded in the reality. They had a totally different reality and different set of expectations. But now I think you're right. Like, it's been long enough now to where they've seen, okay, we're not getting top dollar. We're not getting $20,000, $30,000 more than my neighbor got. That's sort of stopped, and it stopped for long enough to where people realize, okay, this is going to be the new reality. What would you say, though, to somebody that is kind of on the fence about what they should do, whether it's selling or buying, like in this market? Like, what kind of advice would you give to a seller these days?
Man, I'm not somebody who's going to push you to do it, right? It's not about my money. It's not about my decision. It's about yours. If buying a home is necessary for you right now, okay, then we can do that. And I think now is a great time to buy. I mean, if you're going to be owning the home for 5+ years, and you know this because you're in that industry, if you're going to be owning the home in 5 years, okay, then we might have a good time to refinance in the future. And if you can weather the storm of the interest rate right now, then let's do that, because the rent that you're paying is 100% interest. So if you can understand that renting is sucking up a lot of your money, and buying it and putting it in a home, getting equity now, I think now's a great time to buy. And if you're on the fence of selling, okay, then let's go in with the expectation we might have to do some work, and this is going to take a long time. We may not have that many showings, but I mean, if it's something you want to do, if you need to move your family right now, then do it. We can make it happen.
Yeah, and it all comes back down to that need.
Yeah,
it's your need.
What is the motivation? Because if it's I'm trying to maximize the amount I can sell it for, which obviously everybody's trying to do that, but if that's a primary motivator for you, like, I want to cash out.
Not the time.
Do you need to move? No, not really. You can try to sell it, and if it doesn't sell, no big deal. Like, because there's some people with that mentality that are on the market right now.
Well, and you know what? And from an agent perspective, we have to qualify our sellers too. So if we go in and someone is saying, I don't really care, I'm kind of in it for the dollar, we might not take them on as a client. Because we understand that, hey, this isn't really the market for that right now.
Yeah, and consumers don't necessarily understand that when you're listing a property, if you're a good agent, you're spending money to market and sell that property and time. And so it's not just, let me just throw this on and see what happens.
Right.
Like, you have to have a plan for how you're going to make it happen. Whether you've got, where you're going to price it, what kind of improvements, do you stage it, and all that kind of stuff. And so when you do find somebody that is motivated, not just thinking about it for money, tell me, what are some of those things that you can advise people to do to try to get that property sold, so that it doesn't take 6-9 months, something like that? Like, what are some of the things sellers can do to improve their chances of getting their house sold?
First and foremost, you got to price it right. And you can blame a lot of the agents for this too, was when the market started to shift, the agents were also trying to like kind of milk, like, okay, we know it's coming, but let's milk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so like, and we kind of fell into that too. I mean, that $1 million listing that we still have was $1.05 million. And at the time, when you run comps, did it make sense to list it at $1.05 million? Yes, it did. But was it higher than what we maybe thought we should have done? Yeah, it was. So first and foremost, price it right. And as far as updates go, that can be kind of a tricky situation because studies show that more times than not, the buyers are they would rather buy an unfinished property and have that extra $25,000, $30,000 to do their own renovations than live in a place that's been renovated by someone else. So doing a full renovation is not always a great idea because what you could find sexy, the other person's going to be like, why would they? Ew, I don't like laminate flooring.
Yeah.
You know, so it's tough. I mean, do it tastefully, right? Stick with the whites and the grays and the blues because that's trending. But, you know, I mean, do minor things at first.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do anything outlandish. But I think the other thing that's hard for people in that respect is, yeah, you might think about, okay, if I get $25,000 less on the purchase price of a house, conceptually, okay, I have $25,000 more. I'm doing air quotes for the podcast people. I have $25,000 to spend to upgrade the house. The reality is, if somebody's getting a loan, this is not a cash transaction. You know, they might, if they're putting 5% down, for example, on a $500,000 house, well, if that house price comes down by $25,000, that doesn't mean there's $25,000 more for them to spend because they're still financing 95% of it. They're just freeing up that 5% of the $25,000, which I'm not going to do math in my head, which anymore. But it doesn't necessarily mean they've got $25,000 in their pocket, you know, to do those renovations, unless they do something like renovation financing, where you can actually, you know, go ahead and figure out, here's the plans of what I want to do, get some bids, and roll that all into it. Yeah. So I think that's, you know, for sellers, like in the market right now, you got to make your house look good. Like you don't have to spend a bunch of money to do a, you know, complete renovation, to your point, but you got to make it look good because people got lazy in 2020 and 2021 where they just threw it on the market because they knew it was going to sell and they didn't have to put a nickel into it, and someone else would go do it. You
can take pictures with an iPhone.
Yeah.
Do not cheap out on pictures.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that your pictures shouldn't be so good that where they go in the home, they're like, okay, this just didn't look like a picture.
Never happens.
Yeah, I wish that never happened. But just don't cheap out on the pictures. I mean, people are going to be going through the listing. They're going to see one main picture that you get to choose from, whether it's your kitchen, whether it's the backyard, the best part of your home. Take the high quality pictures because we still see homes on the MLS taken with an iPhone. Yeah. And the agent's face is in the mirror. Don't do that. I'm not even going to show that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So how does a consumer figure out like who's the right person for them to do the job? Because, you know, who you work with does make a huge difference. Like what would you advise people to do to try to figure out the right person to work with?
Selecting a realtor.
Yeah.
People work with who they like, know, and trust. Everybody knows that. So it's have I gotten respect from you, you know? And yeah, you look at like my past sales, you look at how long I've been in the business. Some people may get turned off by that. Okay. But I mean, did we have the chance to really talk about why I'm in the business? Why I care about you? Why I'm hungry? Like I'm young and hungry. I'll work until I get this place sold, and I promise you that. You know, so some people can see that. But at the end of the day, people work with who they like, know, and trust.
You want to buy a house, but high interest rates have got you down? Take the rate challenge and send us a verifiable loan estimate from another lender, and we'll beat it and pay for your appraisal up to $600. Here at Give Mortgage, being powered by U Mortgage allows us to provide you with unmatched speed and efficiency and the best rates and fees in the market, all while delivering you the concierge level service you deserve. We want you to have an experience getting a mortgage that you'll never forget, and not because you got put through a meat grinder to get it. At Give Mortgage, we give great advice, we give the best rates, and we give back to charity. Visit us at www.give-mortgage.com or call us at 480-331-4684 to schedule a free consultation to see how we can help.
So what is the consumer's like process, or what should it look like? Because they can go online and go on realtor.com or Zillow and go find somebody there. They can get a referral from a family member or friend, or whatever the different ways that they come across people. Like, what would you say the ideal path should be for somebody when they're looking for a real estate agent to work with?
I love the idea of phoning a friend. Like, hey, you just bought that house, didn't you? Who was your realtor? Did you like that? And then you don't have, it's not one and done. I mean, interview 5 realtors. They will come to you. They'll come to you, and they'll hopefully just be straight up with you. Here's what I offer. Here's what I do. Here's my price. If you're looking to sell, this is my percentage. And but at the end of the day, go with who you trust.
Yeah.
You don't got to go with the biggest realtor, the biggest name. Like, oh, I see his name on the billboards. That's not necessarily the person that you might jive with.
Right.
For us, our value prop is we're a team. You get 3 brains for the price of 1. So,
where's the third one?
The third one is the team leader.
The team leader.
There you go. Yeah, and I think that's really, really good advice that you give, to talk to more than one.
Always.
Because people a lot of times will just default, and statistics show it. Like, I don't have them off the top of my head, but they say that like the first realtor they talk to, that's who the majority of people work with.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. People will vet other things a lot more. They'll vet their kid's school more than they'll vet their real estate agent. I mean, they'll do a lot more research on a car purchase than they do in a home. Like, and sometimes I think it's people feel a little bit uncomfortable, like saying, okay, well, I like you, but I'm going to go talk to these 3 other people. They're maybe afraid that they're going to insult you.
Yeah.
But there's no need for that, right?
No fear at all. I mean, we've lost out on listing appointments, but I understand. I understand why. I mean, I asked them why. They said, oh, yeah, we really liked you. We liked your presentation. This guy, he just so happens he lives in this community. I totally get it, because he's been there. He's probably, he's been around. He's seen every transaction to go through there. So I totally understand. I mean, and the thing too is realtors, they a lot of times come off salesy, and I don't blame the general public for thinking that. But you'll find that there's just realtors like us that I don't have commission breath. If I don't think it's the right move for you or me, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So you'll find the right one that jives with you, but just go with who you like, know, and trust. Trust the most.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good advice. You gotta follow that instinct that you have sometimes, and not just be, dazzled by even a presentation, or whatever it is. And I think too that, asking a listing agent, like, what is that pricing strategy? Like, how are you going to handle this, and getting the details about what are the comparables out there? What does this show? Like, what is the market trends? I mean, that stuff is really important right now, because, people got lulled to sleep about that for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And now this last year, it's a market where you have to be priced right. Because if you're being too aggressive, you're not going to get eyeballs on you. And you don't want to be too low, because then you might be leaving money on the table that you could otherwise have had.
Yeah.
But people don't understand that there's a conscious strategy that agents will take on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, either price it high because that's what you want to hear,
Yeah.
and so that's how I get the listing.
Yeah.
Or price it too low and be able to say, oh, we sell our listings at 99.9% of list price, or 102% of list price, and yet,
Of course you do.
you might have been able to get 105% had you started, a couple thousand higher or what have you.
I mean, I price realistically, and you may punch me in the face because you updated your bathroom last August, and you're upset that I don't see the value in it, right? And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Our first sale that we ever had was in a condo complex. We were running an open house. This couple came up and said, hey, we're looking to move back to Illinois. Would you guys want to come down and look at ours? We've done some renovations. Perfect. Yeah, we'll come down and look at it. So I look at it. It's a nice place. And she was like, what do you what do you think we should list it for? She's, I'd be happy to get 280. And I looked at her, I was like, no, 280, no chance. We can easily list this for 320. And that was mind blowing to her. And we, at the end of the day, we got 362.5. So she wanted 280, 362.5. Right?
That's not too bad.
No, that's right. A little $80,000 come up. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I price realistically. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Okay.
What are some of the things that you think people like don't understand about the real estate market that you think it's important for them to understand or to learn? Like, what are some of the biggest either misconceptions or just gaps in understanding that people have?
Talk about the military and how long it takes to buy a home, because we.
So one of the programs we work with is the military. So people go to Luke Air Force Base, and a lot of people, you know, they get their PCS call like 3 weeks in advance. So they're like, we're gonna be there in 3 weeks, like, and we're ready to get in a home. So I think that's a big misconception, is how long that actually takes.
Yeah. How long it takes to buy a home is sometimes hard for people to understand. And I understand the military's perspective, because they are in one place, they got to go to another. But in reality, I mean, we're looking at like 3 to 4 months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all said and done to buy a home.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole process, you got to set the right expectation, like you were talking about before.
Yeah.
And you know, it can take a little while to find the right place, and then you know, take a little while in escrow to get it closed. And sometimes you know, it can go really fast too. And that's the thing, is like you don't want to set the expectations too far in either direction. You kind of give them that range, and you know, what's a realistic time frame. So definitely it's something that you have to get that expectation right, because definitely people have a wrong understanding. Like they might think it's really, really long.
Yeah. And we do a lot with first-time home buyers. So when you ask me this question, I immediately think first-time home buyers. Understand closing costs. Understand you got to have 2-3%. You know, talk to mortgage professionals like you. That's the most important thing. Is if a first-time home buyer is coming to me, then I got to point you in the right direction, because I'm a realtor, okay, but the numbers and stuff, that's really not on our plate. That's another thing to understand. Realtors, we kind of look towards the people above us, in a sense, the people that will write your loans, the mortgage professionals. We look to you guys, you know, to give our clients the real numbers, the real statistics, and everything that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want them to start out with an unrealistic expectation or no expectation.
Yeah.
Because like the normal way that people think is, I think I want to buy a house, so let's go look at houses. No, that's what a lot of people do, but that's not how you should do it, you know?
No.
You got to figure out the numbers first, because you don't want to take somebody out that's not had all the numbers figured out and been pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Because that's like the definition of setting the wrong expectation, isn't it?
And get your pre-qual. I think it's kind of a scary term maybe to first-time home buyers, like, oh, I got to go get pre-qualified. It's so easy.
Yeah.
We can get your pre-qual done in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, talk with the right lender, and get your pre-qual done, and there you go. I mean, whether you're upset because you can only afford up to $350, sorry, that's reality. But if you can afford up to, you know, $650, okay, there we go. Now we can go look at homes $650 confidently, know we'll be able to get it.
Right.
Last thing you want to do is go find a home that you fall in love with that's $100,000 more.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can do. There's no way that you can swing that. You can't tell the banks that I just really love the flooring.
Oh, wait, I thought that worked.
It doesn't work like that. If you fall a couple $1,000 shorts, they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They're not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. It's
and I think another thing, too, that's important about that, like, of course, going and get your numbers figured out and get the pre-qualification done first, that is great advice. That's the first step you should do. But also one of the things that I see sometimes is people being hesitant about like giving us all the information. Like they don't want to have somebody judging their situation or afraid that maybe I'm not ready. I've got to pay this off, so I don't want to do an application yet. And that's really not how it works. I mean, one of the things we always try to tell people is, you know, we're not there to try to tell you no. We want to tell you yes. 100%. So if you come to us today and you're not able to get to where you want to get to today, we're not just here to tell you, no, sorry, be on your way. Like, we're going to give you a plan to help you get to where you want to be able to get to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's feasible, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But we're going to at least set you forth on that plan. And there's no reason to fear, talking to us, because I'm not the one deciding. Like, I know if it's going to be a yes or a no, but I also know if we can massage things to be able to, tell you, okay, well, do this stuff on your credit, or you need to wait 6 months and start saving up until you've got another $5,000, whatever that happens to be. That's what we're going to do. And then get you in that position where, you'll be able to go out and do it.
See, that's so great. And I'm glad you said that, because I really only work with people who plan it out for somebody. And even if you're able to buy a home now, still plan it out, because 5 years from now, maybe you're not looking to be in that home. Maybe you have 2 more kids coming on the way. Yeah. And that's another financial strategy. Is this home going to suit you in 5 years? And then when you're going to sell it, is it going to suit your financial needs to move into the next one? And there's people like you that are going to be able to just draw out that plan for you. Whether you get a yes or you get a no, it's much better than not knowing at all.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I like that you're helping people think about that in a long-term perspective, because the same way that we operate is, I could put the blinders on and try to just figure out a way to, stuff you into a box and get you into a house today, but that's not going to serve you, 2 years from now or 5 years from now. I don't want somebody making a bad financial decision today just because they got so excited about the flooring in the house, figure out a way to get me in there. Like, we want to make sure that this is a long-term good plan for you. And I know you guys are probably the same way. Like, you want to have that client, come back to you and refer their family and friends to you. Like, this is a start of a relationship. This is not just a transaction that you're trying to get through.
It's never a one-time thing. No. Like, if I sell you a home, I would hope that I did a good enough job where anytime anybody asks you about what's it like to buy a home in Arizona, my name should come up. Yeah. Yeah. And whether I sold it to you, I mean, I've only been 2 years, but whether I sold it to you 2 years ago or, a month ago, I want you to be satisfied with your purchase, and I'm going to check in on you and make sure you are. Too. That's another thing. And that's another thing, like in your part of the business as well, too. Just constantly checking in, like, hey, how's the home been? Have you done any updates? Let me see the pictures. Yeah. What have you done to the kitchen? I know you were talking about putting, an island in there. Did you do that? People love it. People love sharing it too.
Yeah. Well, and that's a sign of you valuing them as the person and the relationship that you have with them, as opposed to a transaction you did for them and then you forgot about them until next time you crossed your fingers and they reached out to you. Because it doesn't work well if you don't do that.
No. Yeah, and it's also the difference too of somebody who's like truly in it for the money or someone who's truly in it for the business. And we're truly in it for the business. Yeah. I mean, the money will come. That's something I learned right away was treat people right. The money will take care of itself. And that's true.
And you guys do some other stuff too, outside of real estate, in terms of giving back. Can you share a little bit about what you guys try to do with that?
Yeah. So we really want to start doing a community heroes. I know you do a community heroes as well, correct?
It's something different, but same idea.
Yeah, yours is a lot cooler than ours, but
we're gonna have a contest, huh? It's cooler.
You're cooler than us. But we love the military. We work with the military a lot. The police force, something we hold close to ourselves too. So, anytime that you purchase a home through us, whether you're a teacher, military, we are more than happy to help you pay for your home warranty, which is another thing. Get a home warranty. I don't care if the home is brand new. Get a home warranty. You're going to want it. It's $750. But, as far as giving back to the community, that's what we'll do. We'll pay for your home warranty.
That's cool. Why do you think the home warranty is so important?
Oh, my God. Because it'll save your ass. Yeah. I mean, you buy a home. Watch, your water heater will go out. I guarantee your water heater goes out in a year because that's your luck. And you're going to really wish you had your home warranty then. And it goes as deep as having, a reverse osmosis system. Okay, those things can fail. And they can be an expensive failure too. But you get that home warranty, get people to come out, fix it for free. You're going to have no problem. And along with your appliances too. You got a kitchen, you got a refrigerator go out, home warranty.
Yeah.
Roof, home warranty. Pool, home warranty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for people to understand the value in that, just because of the fact that a lot of people, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, you know, you're kind of depleting the savings to get into the property a lot of times, and whether it's needing new furniture or just the unexpected repairs, I mean, that can, you know, start you in the path of doing something good for your finances and, you know, building equity, and then all of a sudden you get derailed, you know, really quickly by something unexpected. And if you haven't owned a home before, a lot of times you haven't thought about that stuff.
And that's the difference between renting and owning, right? At the end of the day, is how much responsibility do you want to take on? You know, like you're renting, okay, call somebody. Yeah, my dishwasher just went out. That's not really how it works. But get yourself a home warranty, and you can kind of save that responsibility. Give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've done it with past first-time home buyers where they want to have that savings, so we bought their home warranty, even if they're not in that community heroes space, but they are trying to save a little money.
Yeah,
so we've done that for.
And that same exact client, oh no, they were military, but their water heater literally went out a week after. A week after we closed. So I will.
It's almost on a timer or something, huh?
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
It's worth
like
it.
The seller knew. Yeah, that's on its last leg, but we're not going to say anything. You know.
Yeah, and you know, you get the home inspection, and sometimes people will see a lot of stuff on a home inspection that you know may need attention. But that's one of the things that I think sometimes people get confused by on a home inspection is just because it's noted on a home inspection. I mean, does it need to be fixed?
No, God no. I mean, you're gonna get your inspection back, and if you're a first-time home buyer, you're gonna see 33 pages long, red flashing lights.
Yeah,
you're thinking, oh my God, there's a screw loose in the door.
Yeah,
that ain't a big deal.
The light doesn't work.
Yeah, come on now, it's a light bulb, right? That's a $10 fix from Target. Come on. So, yeah, we always go for safety and security. You know, if something is structurally wrong with the home, okay, we're either gonna make sure that gets fixed or we're gonna back out.
Right.
And that's your last chance. Once you pass the home inspection, the Binzer period, that's your last chance to back out of the purchase. So that's where you really need to take a deep dive into your inspection and realize what's important, what's not important, what can we afford to do over time, right? We're going to be in this home for 5 years. Yeah, you know, that crack in the flooring doesn't really bother me. I can do that over 5 years.
Yeah. And now's the time though that buyers actually have a little bit more room to negotiate those things, because a couple years ago, like, don't bother asking for anything because it's not happening. You know, now you can get a lot of the stuff done. Like, you still, even though you can get more done, to your point, like, you don't want to try to nickel and dime and replace every light bulb and loose screw, stuff like that. You can derail a transaction pretty quick. But if there's some stuff that might be a few $1,000s that's not structurally unsound or unsafe or anything like that, you might be able to still get some of that stuff taken care of right now, huh?
Yeah, and the worst thing that they can do is say no, but that doesn't void your contract. You're still under contract. So if they say no, okay, the ball's back in your court. You either say, fine, whatever, we'll just buy it anyways. Or you say, no, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the advantage of going into this right now. You know, from your guys' perspective, you know, is this, if a buyer kind of wants to buy, you know, doesn't have to, not necessarily like a job transfer where they have to get in here. Like, do you feel like it's a good time for them to buy if they plan on staying in the house for a long time?
Yep.
I do. I mean, of course I do, right? I'm bullish on the idea of home ownership, but yeah. And I think there's rooms to negotiate, like you said, and not just, you can negotiate off the list price. I'm just telling you right now, that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I can go in and comfortably say, okay, here, listing agent, how many offers have you had? One fell out. You've been on the market 3 months. Boom. We're not going in a list price.
Yeah.
You kidding me? No, we're not. Because here's what we can do. I mean, we're going to pull comps. And if the comps show that we can get this off, we can get this off. A year ago, no chance. Good luck even going in at list price and getting the property. Not happening. You're going to have to go 20 or 25 over. So, yeah, I mean, in comparison to, you know, when we started, we're only talking from 2 years back in experience. But, yeah, in comparison, it's easy to buy a home right now.
Yeah. And the interest rate, is a hurdle. It's an obstacle, but there's things that you can do to help lessen the pain of that as well, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so you get yourself 2-1 buy down, and lower that monthly payment as much as you can. Right, that's another negotiation thing too. But going back to what I said at the beginning, if you can weather the storm of an interest rate right now and understand that that is different from the rent that you're paying, which is 100% interest. I'm going to say that again. Rent is 100% interest. Do it.
Yeah, you're still paying a mortgage payment.
Do it. Refinance.
Not your own, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
You're paying someone else's mortgage, right? Pay your own. It may cost you a couple $100 more a month, but again, like if you're a couple and you can weather that storm, I don't see the problem there.
Yeah.
Build your equity, and that refinance period is coming. 5 years of ownership, yeah, you're going to be able to refi.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So for each of you, if you had like one piece of advice to give somebody that was, contemplating, buying or selling in this market, what would you tell them? What's the best piece of advice you can give them?
Oh man, back to what we said. Just pair yourself up with a good realtor, a good lender, and know your numbers. Know your numbers. Yeah.
I would say that, especially now, like, be ready to take a couple months. Or, like you said, it might not be the best time now, but be ready that we're going to look into the future and see what we can do now to get you to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing too. Never settle.
Yeah.
Never settle. Like I wish I had the numbers off the top of my head. I'm going to say 50. No, I probably shouldn't throw out I probably shouldn't throw out a number that I don't know is true, but a large percentage of the people that purchased homes during that whole COVID time, so in the last 2 to 3 years, are now to this day unsatisfied with their purchase because they settled. Okay, you're not going to buy, a painting. We're buying a home here.
Yeah.
So don't settle on it. If it doesn't have everything that you like, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, that was the disadvantage that people had in the last couple of years is, there was a lot of settling.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do that right now.
No. Oh my gosh,
So to your point, like if it's not the market that's dictating that you have to settle, then don't do it.
Yeah. A year and a half ago, there were 8,000 homes on the market. Now there's 16,000. Right. So we've doubled our inventory. You got time. You don't have to go in and we'd be writing like offers walking out of the door.
Yeah.
Now, okay, go sleep on it for a couple nights. Take your time. We're not in that kind of market anymore. And if you lose the home, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
If you lose the home, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. Keep on keeping on.
Very true. Well, if people are watching or listening and they think that your 3 brains are the ones they want to work with.
Yeah.
I don't know where that third one resides, but tell them how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, the third brain's in the cloud. That one just looks like Yeah. Instagram is the best way to find a little bit more about me specifically. So Andrew Hatfield _realtor. If you're really looking at us from a business perspective, go to www.betterdesertliving.com. That's going to be able to kind of give you more information on who we are. Yeah. Your Instagram?
Yeah, my Instagram is jacob.buchele.
You have to spell that.
Yeah, Buchele is a weird one. It's Buchele.
Is it German?
It is German, yeah.
You should know that by now. You really,
I know.
You're just asking him
from
now.
elementary school.
I thought in the past I had heard him say it was German.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need to know about him that I can enlighten you on?
Yeah, what can you tell me about him?
I'm just gonna ask him questions, and you're gonna discover all this stuff.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, I guess that's how it goes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that would be a topic for you guys to do on your podcast in the metaverse, like educate each other on each other.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in the world that knows more about me than he does.
Yeah.
And I think he probably feels the same way about me.
Oh yeah.
We're with each other 24/7. I mean, we live together.
Yeah.
Live together. We run a business together. Like, yeah.
There's nothing that we do that's not together. That's why we're 2 peas in a pod. If I'm somewhere, expect him to be there, vice versa.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's cool to have that kind of a friendship. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys joining us today and
Yeah,
sharing a lot of
man.
good information with our guests and our listeners.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you having us.
Thank you.
Seriously, I do.
My pleasure. Maybe I'll have to get in the cloud with you guys.
No,
too.
you will be.
Oh yeah,
We're
you're on the
making
list.
you, yeah.
It's not a
And then,
choice.
and then we're gonna launch our metaverse version in like 6 years. We decided. Right?
Yeah.
I would love to see that. I would love to see the metaverse podcast.
My brain would probably explode trying to do that.
Mine explodes every
Yeah.
single day, every day.
We're the guinea pigs for you, son.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
we
We'll
really
get it
are.
all settled and we'll have to switch over.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all you guys joining us today. Hopefully we shared some great information with you. Make sure that if you haven't done it already, subscribe and hit that notification button, and then we will look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.
Thanks for joining us, and please remember to go and subscribe, like, share, all that cool stuff to help us grow, and come back to listen to our next episode. Until then, go out and live life uncensored.
Thanks for listening to the Uncensored Real Estate Podcast. Don't forget to help us out and subscribe. Follow and give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. And check us out on YouTube for the full video podcast. If you want more information on any of the topics discussed on today's episode, email us at uncensoredrealestatepodcast@gmail.com or give the Cardenas Mortgage Team a call at 480-331-4684.